We come to the second video of the featherweight boxing history, title history. So, finished on Kid Chocolate with Tom Watson, beating him on points over 15 rounds, May the 19th, 1933. So, you're going to go after that. So, May 1936, the same year as the Berlin Olympics, the New York Commission recognised Mike Belois as the champion. So September 23rd, 1936, Mike Belois wins in the 9th round by KO against Dave Crowley. That's where I ended up actually, in England, and that was New York. So we're going to go from there after that. October the 27th, 1937, should I say? So 36. October 27, 1936, Henry Armstrong wins on points over 10 rounds against Mike Belois in Los Angeles, California. Armstrong was defending the Californian version of the title, which he had won by outpointing Baby Arizmendi over 10 rounds in Los Angeles on August the 4th, 1936. The New York Commission did not regard it as involving Belois' title, and it continued to recognise him as the champion until Mike Belois was forced to give it up because of injury. So, I'm going to go straight down here. So August the 10th, Belois relinquishes the title. And then we got October 29th, 1937, Henry Armstrong wins by KO over P.T. Saron in 6 rounds by KO. That was in New York. That was for the NBA and vacant New York titles, which Armstrong relinquished on August 1938. So October the 17th, 1938, Joey Archibald from the US wins on points over 15 rounds against Mike Belois. That was in New York. Then April the 18th, 1939, Joey Archibald wins on points over 15 rounds against Leo Rodak, as in Providence, Rhode Island, for the undisputed title. Now we go to the IBU title. Again, a lot of good fighters over the years had this at heavyweight, George Godfrey. So the IBU title, and Marcel Phil at middle, I'm sure. But anyway, I digress. IBU title at this featherweight, October the 5th, 1937. Maurice Holzer from France wins on points over 15 rounds against Phil Dolhem from Belgium. That was in Algeria. That was for the vacant title. Then February the 19th, 1938, Maurice Holzer for draws over 15 rounds against Maurice Dubois from Switzerland in Geneva, Switzerland. The IBU agreed to recognise Armstrong in May 1938 in an effort to promote unity. So the undisputed title now, and it goes back a bit. So September 28th, 1939, Joey Archibald wins on points over 15 rounds against Harry Jeffra from the US in Washington, D.C. That was the NBA withdrew recognition from Joey Archibald in May 1940 for his failure to defend against P.T. Scalzo, who they declared champions. So, I'm going to go straight in here. The New York title now. May the 20th, 1940, Harry Jeffra wins on points over 15 rounds against Joey Archibald in Baltimore. And then July the 29th, 1940, Harry Jeffra wins on points over 15 rounds over Spider Armstrong from Canada in Baltimore. Then May the 12th, 1941, Joey Archibald wins on points over 15 rounds against Harry Jeffra in Washington, D.C. Then September 11th, 1941, Chalky Wright from Mexico wins by KO in 11 rounds against Joey Archibald. I didn't know he's from Mexico, Chalky Wright. That's in Washington, D.C. Then June the 19th, 1942, Chalky Wright wins in the 10th round. Referee stops the fight against Harry Jeffra. That's in Baltimore. Then, as a referee stopped the fight, 10th round. Then September the 25th, 1942, Chalky Wright wins on points over 15 rounds against Lulu Constantino from the US. That was in New York. And then we've got the great Willie Pep. So November the 20th, 1942, Willie Pep wins on points over 15 rounds against Chalky Wright in New York. Then June the 8th, 1943, June the 8th, 1943, where am I? Yeah, June the 8th, 1943, Willie Pep wins on points over 15 rounds against Sal Bartolo from the US. That was in Boston, Massachusetts. Then September the 29th, 1944, Willie Pep wins on points over 15 rounds against Chalky Wright in New York. Then February the 19th, 1945, Willie Pep wins over 15 rounds on points against Phil Terranova from the US. That was in New York. Then June the 7th, 1946, Willie Pep wins by KO in the 12th round against Sal Bartolo. That was in New York for the undisputed title. Then we got the NBA title here. So, July the 10th, 1940, P.T. Scalzo from the US wins in the 15th round. Referee stops the fight against Bobby Poison Ivy from the US in Hartford, Connecticut. Then May the 19th, 1941, P.T. Scalzo wins on points over 15 rounds against Phil Zwick from the US in Milwaukee. Then July the 1st, 1941, Richie Lemos from the US wins by KO in the 5th round against P.T. Scalzo. That was in Los Angeles. Then November the 18th, 1941, Jackie Wilson from the US wins on points over 12 rounds against Richie Lemos. That was in Los Angeles, California. December the 16th, 1941, Jackie Wilson wins on points over 12 rounds against Richie Lemos. That was in Los Angeles. Then January the 18th, 1943, Jackie Kalura from Canada wins on points over 15 rounds against Jackie Wilson in Providence, Rhode Island. Then March the 18th, 1943, Jackie Kalura wins on points over 15 rounds again against Jackie Wilson in Boston, Massachusetts. Then August 16th, 1943, Phil Terranova from the US wins by KO in the 8th round against Jackie Kalura. It was in New Orleans. Then August the 16th, 1943, Phil Terranova wins in the 8th round by KO against Jackie Kalura in New Orleans. And then December the 27th, 1943, Phil Terranova wins in the 6th round by referee stopping the fight against Jackie Kalura in New Orleans. Then we got March the 10th, 1944, Sal Bartolo wins on points over 15 rounds against Phil Terranova in Boston, Massachusetts. Then May the 5th, 1944, Sal Bartolo wins on points over 15 rounds against Phil Terranova in Boston, Massachusetts. Then December the 15th, 1944, Sal Bartolo. Let's go again on them. So just in case I missed one. So March the 10th, 1944, Sal Bartolo wins on points over 15 rounds against Phil Terranova in Boston, Massachusetts. And then May the 5th, 1944. Let's go over it again. Sal Bartolo wins on points over 15 rounds against Phil Terranova again in Boston, Massachusetts again. Then December the 15th, 1944, Sal Bartolo wins on points over 15 rounds against Willie Roach from the US in Boston, Massachusetts. Then May the 3rd, 1946, Sal Bartolo wins by KO against Spider Armstrong from Canada. KO in the 6th round. Sal Bartolo beats Spider Armstrong in Boston, Massachusetts. Then June the 7th, 1946, Willie Pep wins by KO in the 12th round against Sal Bartolo from New York for the undisputed title. So go for the undisputed title now. So finish this bit. So undisputed title, we've got August the 22nd, 1947, Willie Pep wins by KO in the 12th round against Jock Leslie from the US in Flint, Michigan. Then February the 24th, 1948, Willie Pep wins in the 10th round. Referee stops the fight against Humberto Sierra from Cuba in Miami, Florida. Then October the 29th, 1948, Sandy Sadler wins by KO in the 4th round. Many fights. That was in the 4th round KO. Willie Pep. That was in New York. Then February 11th, 1949, Willie Pep wins on a 15 rounds point decision against Sandy Sadler in New York. Then September the 20th, 1949, Willie Pep wins in the 7th round. Referee stops the fight against Eddie Compo from the US in Waterbury. Then January the 16th, 1950, Willie Pep wins by KO against Charlie Riley from the US in St. Louis, Missouri. Then March the 17th, 1950, Willie Pep wins on points over 15 rounds against Ray Framacho from France. I thought he was from Australia, but hey, Famachon from France, right, New York. Might be getting muddled up with names similar. But again, one of these fights, we haven't gone through them all yet, was Sandy Sadler, Willie Pep, which I'll come into in a minute. One of them, they were banned from every state. It was such a dirty fight. And Bruce Lee used to keep that on his video because he thought it was a great display of dirty boxing. Willie Pep dislocated an arm. I think he might have broken an arm, something like that. As froze, all sorts. They were banned from most states after that. But yeah, two great fighters. So September the 8th, 1950, Sandy Sadler wins in the 7th round by retirement against Willie Pep in New York. I think that was the one. Or it might be the next one because he retired in that one. So September 29th, 1951, Sandy Sadler wins again, this time retirement in the 9th round. That was in New York. And February the 25th, 1955, Sandy Sadler wins on points over 15 rounds against Teddy Davis from the US. That was in New York. Then January 18th, 1956, Sandy Sadler wins. Referee stops the fight against Gabriel Flashalordi from the Philippines. Cracking little southpaw. That was in San Francisco. Yes, so January 5th, 1957, Sadler retires because of injuries sustained in the car crash. And then we got June the 24th, 1957, Hogan Kid Bassi from Nicaragua wins in the 10th round. Referee stops the fight against Sharif Hamia from France. That was in Paris, France. And then April the 1st, 1958, Hogan Kid Bassi wins by KO in the 3rd round against Ricardo Moreno from Mexico in Los Angeles. Then March the 18th, 1959, Davey Moore, not a Davey Moore at Fort Duran, obviously, different Davey Moore, he wins by retirement in the 13th round against Hogan Kid Bassi, Los Angeles. And then, yeah, that was in Los Angeles. So August 19th, 1959, Davey Moore wins by retirement this time in the 10th round by Hogan Kibasi, Los Angeles. Then August 29th, 1960, Davey Moore wins on points over 15 rounds against Kazuo Takayama from Japan in Tokyo, Japan. Then April the 8th, 1961, Davey Moore wins by KO in the first round against Danny Valdez from the US in Los Angeles. Then November the 13th, 1961, Davey Moore wins on points over 15 rounds against Kazuo Takayama. That was in Tokyo, Japan. In August 17th, 1962, Davey Moore wins. Referee stops the fight in the second round against Olli Mäki from Finland in Helsinki, Finland. March 21st, 1963, Sugar Ramos from Cuba wins in the 10th round against Davey Moore by retirement in Los Angeles. I think that was the one where Davey Moore died. I think that was the only one there. So yeah, I might be wrong, but I'm sure that was the one. So July the 13th, 1963, Sugar Ramos wins on points over 15 rounds against Rafael King from Nigeria in Mexico City, Mexico. Then February 28th, 1964, Sugar Ramos wins by retirement against Mitsunori Seki from Japan. Mitsunori Seki from Japan in Tokyo, Japan. So May the 9th, 1964, Sugar Ramos wins on points over 15 rounds against Floyd Robertson from Ghana in Accra, Ghana. Now, September the 26th, 1964, Vincent Salvador from Mexico wins by retirement 11th round against Sugar Ramos in Mexico City, Mexico. Then December the 6th, 1964, Vincent Salvador wins the 11th round, referee stops the fight, against Delfino Rosales from Mexico in Guanajuato, Mexico. So let's go for that again. So December, so let's go back here. So September 26th, 1964, Vincent Saldivar from Mexico wins by retirement, 11th round against Sugar Ramos in Mexico City, Mexico. And that one, so December the 6th, 1964, Vincent Saldivar wins the 11th round against Delfino Rosales from Mexico in Guanajuato, Mexico. Then May the 7th, 1965, Vincent Saldivar wins in the 15th round, referee stops the fight against Paul Rogers from the US. That was in Los Angeles. Then September the 7th, 1965, Vincent Saldivar wins on points over Howard Winston from Wales. Cracking little fighter. It was minus a cut, like bits of his fingers from an accident, but he still managed to make the fists to be a boxer. But again, Howard Winston from Wales loses over 15 rounds on points. That was in London, England. Then February the 12th, 1966, Vincent Saldivar wins by KO in the second round against Floyd Robertson in Mexico City, Mexico. Then August the 7th, 1966, Vincent Saldivar wins on points over 15 rounds, shall I say. It's all 15 then. Mitsunori Seki against Mitsunori Seki from Japan in Mexico City, Mexico. Then January the 29th, 1967, Vincent Saldivar wins in the 7th round. Referee stops the fight against Mitsunori Seki. Referee stops the fight in the 7th round in Mexico City, Mexico. Then June 15th, 1967, Vincent Saldivar wins on points over 15 rounds against Howard Winston from Wales in Cardiff, Wales. Then fights him yet again, October the 14th, 1967. Vincent Saldivar wins again, third time here for the title, over 12 rounds by retirement against Howard Winston in Mexico City, Mexico. Saldivar announced his retirement in the ring immediately after this fight. Probably had enough of Howard Winston giving him half fights, I don't blame him. So, WBC, January 23rd, 1968, Howard Winston wins. In the 9th round, referee stops the fight against Mitsunori Seki from Japan in London, England for the vacant title. Then July 24th, 1968, Josh Legra from Cuba wins in the 5th round. Referee stops the fight against Howard Winston in Porthcawl, Wales. That's what I was getting muddled up with earlier. Johnny Famacho, yeah, from Australia. Yeah, the other guy was, yeah, different name. So again, June the 21st, 1969, Johnny Famachon from Australia. Yeah, that was Ray Famachon earlier. Yeah, I just got it in my head. So this is Johnny Famachon. Ray Famachon was from France. But again, that explains it now. So I thought it was a misprint, but it's not. This is Johnny Famachon. So back to this. So I'll go to one before actually. So July 24th, 1968, just done that one. Josh Legra from Cuba wins in the 5th round. Referee stops the fight against Howard Winston. Now then it's here. Johnny Famacho, not Ray. Ray's from France. So Jan 21st, 1969. Johnny Famacho from Australia wins on points over 15 rounds against Josh Legra. That was in London, England. Then July 28th, 1969, Johnny Famacho wins on points over one of my very favourite fighters, fighting Harada, over 15 rounds points position from Japan. That was in Sydney, Australia. Then January the 6th, 1970, Johnny Famacho wins by KO in the 14th rounds against fighting Harada, Tokyo, Japan. He also fought in the lighter divisions, Harada. So, May the 9th, 1970, Vincent Saldivar wins some points over 15 rounds against Johnny Famachon. That was in Rome, Italy. Then, December 11th, 1970, Kuniaki Shibata from Japan wins in the 12th round. Referee stops the fight against Vincent Saldivar in Tijuana, Mexico. Then we come back again. So, June the 3rd, 1971, Kuniaki Shibata wins by KO in the 1st round against Raul Cruz from Mexico in Tokyo, Japan. Then November 11th, 1971, Kuniaki Shibata draws with Ernesto Marcel from Panama over 15 rounds in Matsuyama, Japan. Then May 19th, 1972, Clement Sanchez from Mexico wins by KO in the 3rd round against Kuniaki Shibata in Tokyo, Japan. Then December the 16th, 1972, Josh Legra wins in the 10th round. Referee stops the fight against Clement Sanchez in Monterrey, Mexico. Sanchez was overweight, but Legra was recognised as a champion by the WBC. Now here, again, Aida Joffrey. The only man to beat him ever was Harada. He beat him twice. That was, yeah, but again, I will digress. But cracking fighter, Aida Joffrey. May the 5th, 1973, Ada Joffrey from Brazil wins on points over 15 rounds against Josh Legra. Then October 21st, 1973, Ada Joffrey wins in the 4th round by KO against Vincent Saldivar. Weird enough, in Salvador, Brazil. WBC withdrew recognition of Joffrey in June 1974 for failing to defend against Alfredo Marcano. So go for a few more here before we end. So, September the 7th, 1974, Bobby the Schoolboy Chacon from the US wins. In the 9th round, referee stops the fight against Alfredo Marcano from Venezuela in Los Angeles. for the vacant title. Then March the 1st, 1975, Bobby Chacon wins in the second round by KO against Jesus Estrada from Mexico in Los Angeles. Then June the 20th, 1975, Ruben Oliveras from Mexico wins in the second round by referee stopping the fight against Bobby Chacon in Inglewood. So September the 20th, 1975, David Cote from Ghana wins on points over 15 rounds against Ruben Oliveras in Inglewood. Lovely. And going to finish there. Ruben Oliveras from Mexico. Again, going to finish just there where David Cote beats Ruben Oliveras. Bang, at the end of the second featherweight boxing title history video. Bang, that's the end. Lovely.